Big.
In or out, it's your call.
There's no ref here.
That's on us.
Decisions like these are about trust.
That's spirit, not a slogan.
But to be fair, even when the game is on the line.
It's not easy.
Sometimes it gets intense.
Because spirit keeps the game bigger than the point.
Bigger than the call.
Bigger than me,
It's how I know I can go all out.
and trust my opponent will too.
It's not just rules, it's respect.
Because when you respect the call,
You respect the player.
It's every decision you make.
Every conversation, every point.
It's the reason I compete at my best.
And when I have to make the call,
In or out.
I'll call it honestly.
Because spirit is the standard.
And we don't play below it.
Hello, bonjour. I'm Kat Martin here with Brienne Wager, and we are here for the 5th place semifinal with Wicked from Ontario and Team Manitoba from Manitoba.
We're here at Noonan Athletic Park in Surrey, British Columbia, on the traditional lands of the Coast Salish people. These two teams have seen each other once before this season at an early season tournament, but they have not seen each other yet at this tournament, so it'll be an exciting matchup.
We have today Wicked in white on the right side of your screen, starting in defense, and Toba is on your left side of the screen in their dark jerseys. A couple of interesting things that we'll see here is that both teams have had some big games to get themselves here for the 5th place, with some universe point games, some tight games, and just a lot going through. So coming into a game like this, what would you be preparing for?
You know, it's interesting. Yesterday afternoon, it was getting a bit windy, and we saw a fair bit of zone, especially from the Vortex team and Kamloops Helios, but the flags are not moving. It's basically dead air right now, so maybe a little bit of junky sets, but I would expect to see a lot of hard person match defense here, and I'm excited to see that. Can lend well to some big plays, both on offense and defense, so super excited to see what both these teams can do here.
And that is the horn. So we've got here, as we mentioned earlier, Wicked will be starting in defense. Alexa Brinshare with the pull.
Looks like Wicked is coming out with that person match. Maybe a little bit of a slough off the handler as well.
Classen with the huck and caught for the first point. Oh, right above the line. We've got Blackmore here looking for a dish for her bail. Horn looking back to Classen. Classen just looking to punch it in the end zone. It's recentering here to Blackmore. Classen again with a beautiful OI backhand and a first point for Toba.
That was a really nice cascade using the break side for Toba there. Once they got it to the midfield off the stack, Immediately you saw timing from the back of the stack just to continue that momentum, and Wicked wasn't able to get the mark on there. So really good timing from the Toba team to start the game off with a nice clean hold.
And a fun fact on the Toba team, we mentioned Klassen a fair bit here. Klassen was a Team Canada player for the U20s mixed team this past July in Logroño. He also has Meave Heberlin on the Toba women's, who played for the TC women's as well at the U20s. First point is always it's still the beginning, but I'm the type of person I always get a little bit of nerves with the first point.
Yeah. Honestly, that was a really clean point for the first one of the game. Yesterday, we saw an 8-minute point to start off the open quarter. So, yeah, nice that there wasn't any mistakes there. They got stuck near the end zone for a moment, but trusted their reset. Were able to get that disc moving again, and like I said, capitalize on the break side. So they were looking pretty confident out there.
Wicked here bringing the disc to the brick mark with Ryan Muffat.
And looks like Toba setting up in a little bit of a junky set. Person in the back, maybe just a little bit of slapping going on near the disc. Promoting the disc to the outside, trying to stop that upfield movement.
We have Harvey looking for Moffat.
Just
a little-
overthrown and snapped on there by number 26, Roy from Toba. Great heads up deep play from her.
Bradford here with the disc in the middle, looking to Dave is looking for her option. With a little dish here, back to Davis. Toba looking deep, really using the width of the field here. Bradford looking at her bail. Back to Hull. Hull's looking for that deep space. Just punching it up line to Radford. Radford looking for Hull. Unable to look for her. Dishes it back. Hull's looking for her deep option again with Lamai catching that. Lamai's looking for Hull. Centers it. Toba's looking for the around throw with a beautiful bid by Harvey. And a point by Roy. That is the second point, second break by Toba.
Some good effort on the defense by Harvey there. Unfortunately, it can be tough if you make that layout attempt and don't get the disc. The thrower had no mark there and was able to have just a nice uncontested throw up the line to an open receiver.
A fun honorable mention on the Wicked side, Moffat and Harvey are both TC players that played on women's for the U20s in Logroño. So it's fun because at these tournaments, you get to see your teammates that you played on a national team with. Now you're playing against them as well.
Yeah, it's also fun because now you know their habits. You've gotten used to playing with them. You know what you like to see from them when you're playing with them on the field. And now you know what they're looking for. So you can use that intel to your advantage. Toba able to work it up for a clean break there. They weren't using the break side as much as they were in the previous point, though. You know, as they were all kind of on half of the field, and they were struggling to get those looks downfield because of that. It'd be nice to see them spread out a little bit more, use the width of the field again, capitalize on a break reset to the middle, and cascade down the break side again. We'll see if they come out with any different defense here. Last time they came down in person with just 2 sloughs off the handler mark to promote it out to the wings. Worked pretty well for them. Pressured Wicked into a tight throw.
We got Roy here with the pull. Recentering to Moffat. Moffat using the width of the field here. Little dish back to Moffat. Moffat looking back to her player. Recentered here to Harvey. Harvey sending it to March. Jones looking for Harvey. Harvey sending it back to Jones. Jones looking for a deep option. Jones, you can see, looking for Moffat and sends it around to Harvey. And a foul call from March and Lee.
It's a little bit of a discussion there, maybe some contact on the hand. And the observer coming over just to listen to on the conversation. They won't make a ruling unless the player specifically asks them to. They can do a rules clarification as well, like we were chatting about yesterday. There are a lot of rules in Ultimate. It is a self-officiated sport, so it's on the players to know those rules, but there's a lot, and especially at the junior level, some players still getting used to calling their own infractions, calling their own fouls. Never anything wrong with calling a foul too. Never wrong with contesting it. Sometimes people do have those different perspectives, and it looks like it is contested, so it's going back to the thrower. It'll come in at the stall count that it was, but unable to come in higher than 6. So looks like they're chatting about that right now. And it will be coming in at stall 5.
Deal with the disc here, coming in at 5. Looking for her deep option and looking to dish it back to Moffat. Moffat sending it up to Jones. Jones looking for Moffat. Little dish back to Moffat here. And just recentering to Crawford. Back to Moffat. Moffat back to Steele. And Steele's really looking for that end zone. And a beautiful dish, and Wicked scores their first point to Crawford.
Yeah. Again, saw some really nice work cutting to the break side there. Moffat with a nice inside break upfield to Steele, and then Steele getting that around break throw off for the score. Oh, really nice throws by both of those women. A little bit cloggy there too for Wicked when they were on that home sideline, trying to run through the open side. Almost a pick down field, as there's a little bit of miscommunication with the cutters. As soon as they brought the disc to the middle and were able to get into their vertical end zone set, it just opened up so much more space on the field. You could see one person cutting, one person active. You knew where you're looking as the offense. If it wasn't there, they can look to reset and move the disc somewhere else. So it looked a lot cleaner once they got into their offensive set there. And a nice clean hold, I think, from Wicked.
It's always fun to see teams using the width of the field and being able to send across the field as well and just really change things up.
Absolutely.
I find some junior teams and even senior teams struggle with that. And when they're stuck on one side, it's really hard for them to find a way to get on the other side. It almost seems like there's almost some timidness, especially with the stall counts and so many people. Just you feel very pressured in the moment.
Totally. And that's on both the cutters and the throwers, because the cutters are always just trying to get open past their defender to that open side, and they're driving to a smaller and smaller space on the field. But sometimes throwers aren't looking at the break side either. So it's on both of them to recognize where the valuable space on the field is.
Klassen here with the disc. Looking to center it. Back to Blackmore. And Blackmore sends it up, and it's saved by Lee. Back to Klassen. Klassen sends it to Horn. Horn's looking for her end zone and sends it back to Klassen here in the middle. Klassen back to Hemmerling. Hemmerling looking to Klassen. Klassen sends it up, and it's a point by Hemmerling. And that is Toba's third point.
Great work on that point by both Klassen and Hemmerling. I think Wicked defender maybe looking to poach into the open lane there, but unfortunately left Hemmerling all by themselves in the deep space. No one to threaten that deep shot and got them a lot of yards downfield. really calm end zone look from Toba there. And yeah, Klassen just really quarterbacking that whole offense. Yeah, Toba came down with a little bit more of a junk set last point. We'll see if they hold that here again. A little bit of a breeze picking up, but really not enough, I think, to make a difference for either of these teams. Their throws are looking nice and crisp.
Wicked and ready on the line here, starting on O. I was telling one of the things I love about juniors is seeing how teams set themselves and prepare themselves on the sideline. Some will do like a really nice coordinated dance. Shout out to Wheaties. Some will do the double clap, and it just sounds so crisp and sharp, and just kind of gets you mentally ready as well.
Totally. And some will celebrate their final score of a game by doing the worm. If you were watching the stream yesterday, Vortex women, some quality worming out there.
Steele here picking up the disc, centering to Moffat. Moffat sending it to Harvey. Back to Moffat. Moffat looking for Harvey.
There are two Harveys out on the field right now, sisters.
Marsh back to Harvey. Harvey looking for that deep option, and it is saved with a layout point by I think Jones. That was definitely a Jones point right there.
Jones?
And that marks Wicked's second point for the game.
Yeah. Nice clean offense there. Toba was coming down with a little bit of junk, but Wicked very confident, just moving the disc laterally, having that patience until something opened up downfield. Harvey and Harvey on both of the wings there. Looked very comfortable. Moffat in the center of their handling core on that offensive point. A little Harvey squared. You were talking earlier about how some of these PC girls are playing against each other. The two of the coaches for the Toba team, Karen Hatch and Jolie, I've had the pleasure of playing on TC teams with, so it's really cool for me to see them in a coaching role here and not on the field.
A little fun fact, Karen is your U24 coach for the 2027 cycle going to Japan. And then a other fun fact, we have Laura Story, the coach for Wicked, who is a Team Canada coach as well for the TCU 20s that just went to the building.
Yeah.
So in fact, she coached, well, Harvey, Moffat, and Hemmerling. So as a coach, you also get to see the points of your player that you're playing against.
Yeah. Yeah, you want them to have success, but maybe not too much success when you're playing against them.
Klassen here with the disc, starting in the center, looking at her cutters. Little dump to Horn. Hemmerling with the disc, looking for Klassen. Klassen with the huck, looking deep to Hill. And it's saved by Hill. Hill looking for an end zone. And she's back to the middle. Klassen with a break point to Hemmerling. And that is a TC connection.
Again, great timing using the break side. As soon as you get that disc to the middle, you can see that next cutter timing for the subsequent break throw. And again, once more, just make it a really easy offense. And it's hard for the defense to contain that. You can do your best to try to get around, block that next break throw, but you're already on the quote unquote wrong side of the player, and it's tough to make up those yards. Really great throw from Klassen to Hill on that point too. Hill had the space, but still had to make a bit of a play to come down with the disc. A great read, great hands.
So just a little score update here. Toba is coming here with her 4th point and Wicked with 2 points.
Yeah.
Oh, and another fun fact, Ellie White on Wicked was also on the U20 roster as a development player. Wicked here starting on O with Moffitt here in the center. Playing it here to Crawford.
And a nice run through D there by Lamai. Great recognition. Just make a nice clean save play, getting her hands on the disc, and they're immediately into that end zone set.
Hull here looking for her end zone play. Looking for someone deep. Backhand to Lamai. Lamai with just a little bit too much power on that throw. Moffat picking up the disc and bringing it in. And a hand blocked by Degagné on Toba.
Way to get the disc back right at the end zone line, and another break chance here for Toba.
This time we've got Roy here picking up at the disc in the end zone, right above the line. Looking.
You can see Harvey there on Wicked, trying to be heads up, clog up the open side, forcing Toba to go backfield.
Degagné was looking for that upline throw. Steele here picking up the disc, looking for that big cut. Looking for Moffitt. Moffitt centering it here to Crawford with just a little too high there on her throw. Hull starting with the disc here. Looking for her upline cut. Recenters it to Radford. Radford dishes it back to Hull. Hull sends it deep, and it's just a little too high, kind of in the middle of a lot of players.
I'm not really sure what she was looking for there. Maybe she saw an opening, but it looked like it was just a throw into traffic there, and unfortunately gave up their break chance. And Wicked here now trying to get that hold and work it down the field.
Smith looking for Moffitt connection and just thrown a little too high.
I think they needed to take that deeper shot, though. They had 3 short field turnovers, and historically in this game, Toba's been very good at capitalizing on them, struggling a little bit at this point with their end zone. But they do have another chance.
Yeah. Roy here centering it to Davis. Davis back to Radford. Radford looking for her bail and dishes it back to Davis. Davis looking up line and is.
Yeah, there's a foul call immediately. No contest from the defender there. Just a little bit of contact through the player before they got to the disc. But Toba retains possession.
Degagné back with the disc and a little dish here to Hull. Hull doing a breakthrough into the space and a save by Degagné with the 5th point for Toba.
That was a huge fake by Hull there. Made the mark bite on that up line and just opened up that break side throw. Kind of threw her receiver open there. Just put it to space, knowing that all the Toba receivers are on the break side. Going to get there first before Wicked defenders can catch up.
Definitely a throw of trust. You just throw it to space, trusting that your players are going to run onto it. And it's just so beautiful.
Yeah. That was the point with the most turnovers we've seen so far. It's been a very clean game by both teams up until this point. 3 short field turnovers by Wicked, 1 run through D, 1 hand block, and 1 just an overthrow on the swing. I think they do need to start looking downfield, trying to create that space and opportunity. See if they can run some out cuts. And even if you don't get it out, it'll just create more space for that under. You can still gain 10, 20, even 30 yards with a good throw, and they have lots of good throwers.
We're just taking a timeout here. I think timeout called by Wicked. So you can hear both of the teams just talking to their teammates, hyping them up. As a coach, what would you be telling your team in a moment like this?
Yeah. I think just what I talked about, Wicked, like you have the throws there. We just need to start cutting downfield like we want the disc, right? We want to get the yards. We can't just be relying on those little swing passes. Throwers, just trust yourself, right? you get a handball, it happens. Moving on to the next one. Toba, I think they've been playing well. They've got that defensive pressure out there. If I'm the coach, I'm telling them they need to clean up their offense in the end zone. Right? They were taking shots that they did not need to, throwing it just into the stack. We've seen them capitalize on the break side cascade before, so they need to get back to that and just be efficient with their end zone. But they got the job done. Toba will be pulling here. I believe they're up 2 breaks now in this game.
Yes, yes. Since they started on O.
Yeah. So chance for a third to make this gap a little bit greater. It's currently 5-2 for Toba. You can hear the sideline cheering for that break. Like Kat said, lots of energy here from the sideline in these games. And it really helps give the energy to the players on the field.
We've got Alexa Brinch here with the disc, centering it to Sadler. Sadler to March. Back to Sadler. Here looking for her deep option. It finds a beautiful undercut here with Jones, with the disc. Harvey to Moffitt. Moffitt looking for that beautiful end zone throw to Harry, and that is wicked. 3rd point. I think that was a magical timeout.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we wanted to see, right? Come and be confident with your throws, be confident with your cuts. I think Toba defender maybe trying to help a little bit too much, left wicked wide open in the field. But when you're cutting hard and being threatening downfield, it will open up that space. And they were able to just get that point done. And I think 2 more throws there, leaving their receivers out to space, making it look very easy.
That was the timeout that you needed. You could hear Coach Laura really hyping up her players, and they came out strong.
Yeah.
Another fun fact, it's really fun to see Toba playing Wicked, because I also like to call it the battle of the fans, because you have your OJ Cup parents that are huge supporters, but you also have your Team Manitoba parents that are also very loud and huge supporters. Big shout out to the Clausen family. Their loud voices are so supporting, and a big shout out to all the OJ Cup parents too.
Yeah, and quite a way to travel for both teams coming from Manitoba and Ontario. So great to see the parent support. Super high value, knowing that you've got that family support behind you, friends and family alike. And hopefully lots of support on the stream here too.
Alexa Bryn here with the pull.
Great hustle by Wicked to get that mark on.
Passing here to the center. We've got Blackmore looking to center to Russell. Russell looking for Clausen. Clausen looking for Hammerling in the deep space. Just a little out there.
That was a really interesting defense set by Wicked. They were pressing on the handlers, but a little bit zony downfield with 3 mids and 1 deep. So creating a little bit of a bracket situation there. And it did look like the Toba receiver was open, but just a bit of a missed throw, unfortunately.
White with the disc. She's looking for that deep option. And she sends it deep.
That was a great, safe defensive play by Toba there.
Clausen with the disc. She's looking for up the line to Horn. Horn looking back to send it to Clausen, and sends it Hammerling in the middle. Lee back to Clausen. Clausen centering to Hammerling. Hammerling's looking it to keep it in the center here with Hill. Hill's looking back to Horn. Horn's looking for Hammerling. Hammerling recenters back to Horn. And back to Clausen. Clausen looking for the breakthrow here. And just a little too high. And a huck from Wicked.
I think Clausen was expecting a play like that, already in the space and just bringing that disc down to get the turn back.
Her height definitely helps with there.
Yeah.
Blackmore here with the disc in the middle. Dishes it to Coruscant. Coruscant is looking deep. A little dish back to Clausen. Clausen wants to use her break hand.
Just a little bit of a miscue there, and Wicked is able to snack on it.
White was looking for that huck. Sadler here with the disc. Up the line to Crawford. Crawford looking for the end zone look. Setting it and just a little too high with Alexa Britton.
Yeah, she had her hand on it, just not able to hold on to the disc. Again, a multi-turn point here. And you can hear from the sideline, coach is calling to set, so it looks like we will come out with that junk again from Wicked.
Passing here to Blackmore. Blackmore to Coruscant.
And Wicked out of their junk into a person matchup now.
Coruscant to Blackmore. Blackmore, little dish back to Clausen. Clausen looking for that backhand. Sending it up to Hill. Hill looking for Clausen. Clausen with the flick huck to Hammerlane. Just right above the end zone line. And Hammerlane looking for a end zone option. And sends it through to Horn for the 6-point for Toba.
Good pressure there by Collins on Wicked to close the gap. Just not quite able to get there. And multi-turn point. Wicked had their chances, not able to capitalize, and Toba's finally able to work it down the field. Really open it up with that big throw.
Yeah, I thought Clausen really liked her backhand hugs, but I didn't realize she also had a flick hug in it there for her too.
Yeah. Well, it's tough as a defense when your opponent has both those throws.
Makes it very unpredictable.
Yeah. I think interesting look by Wicked there. Like I said, a little bit of person on the handlers, a little bit of junk in the downfield. Saw a bit of success off the initial pull from them, forced an out of bounds throw. Stopped their downfield play too subsequently there. Made Toba work it around until they got to their person set. I would like to see a little bit more pressure from Wicked in the person set. There's a lot of uncontested unders for Toba earlier in that point. I think if they want to get the disc back, they just need to tighten up that person defense a bit more. But they'll be starting on offense here. We'll see what play they come out with. Toba's been running a little bit just a sluffy, poachy defense, but playing mostly person. I've had 1 point there where there was a zone, but it was a pretty quick transition still.
We have Steele here starting with the disc, turning to Moffitt. Moffitt finding that little hole to Smith. Smith setting it up here. And a little too high and denied by Lamai.
And that's the kind of defense you want to see. Tight on the receiver and able to make that play.
Hull starting on O. Looking to recenter the disc.
Wicked doing a good job now of shutting it down, forcing just a throw to space, and doesn't work out for Toba there. Wicked able to take another chance on offense.
Beautiful defense play by Moffat here, starting again on O in the center to Harvey. Harvey looking for her end zone options, and there is a pick call.
Pretty common in end zone when you've got the vertical stack, people running just a little bit too close. You cannot set picks in ultimate, and so just a discussion about where they get to catch up to, or if Wicked comes back to where the pick occurred. Always a confusing rule. I still get confused by it, and I've been playing for many, many years. Whether the defense catches up to the receiver or the receiver goes back to the time of the pick. But the observers are there to help sort that out, and looks like they're having a little bit of a discussion on the field positioning. They will go back to where the pick occurred, and then the disc will be tapped in at the stall that it was with a maximum of 6.
Harvey here, right near the end zone. Sends it up line to Moffat, and it is saved. Wicked scoring their 4th point.
Yeah, that just popped up just enough, but able to reel it in, no problem. And that's a hold for Wicked. They really put some pressure on here coming on defense. I don't think they've got a break yet. It's only a 2-point game, so if they can get this break, bring it into a 1-point game, get a little bit of momentum here, they'll be in a good spot.
With a coaching lens here, if you really want that break, would you use this time to do a power line?
It's still a very early game, but again, I think this is the time where you need to push, trying to get that break, close it up before half. It's something to consider. Again, Wicked hasn't been playing poorly, just a little bit more pressure required on defense, I think. Just reminding your team that, hey, we need to want the disc. We need to close up to our matchups and put that pressure on. You saw it there when they got the disc back. Everyone was within arm's length of their offensive matchup, and Toba had no looks downfield. They forced a throw to space, and that's what you want as a defense. It's hard to take everything away, so you just really have to win with the energy, with the pressure. And we saw that last point. Didn't see it a couple points ago. So hopefully the coaches are saying, hey, let's get the energy up, win with our legs here, force Toba into an uncomfortable position, make them make mistakes.
Ellie White here with the pull. All right, we got Horn here walking up to the disc. Horn.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like we said, with that vertical stack, I think that was definitely a pick running right past the top of the stack there. So we'll just go back to the time that the pick was called. This goes back to thrower, and Toba basically gets a redo here.
Great time just to kind of clean things up a little bit.
Totally. If I'm not mistaken, this play looks like a bit of a goal play. So coming down from the back of the stack, slashing across the front. Wicked able to play that stifling defense, force a challenging throw.
Purcell here with the save, centering it to Hill. Hill really looking for Horn. Horn looking to center to Lee. Back to Hill. And Hemmerling here with the disc right above the end zone. Really looking for the up the line throw. Throws it up line to Blackmore.
There
And
has
there's
been a stall down called by the Wicked player to Harry there, saying that she said 10 before this was in the air. Toba, Hemmerling, maybe arguing that the disc was released. So they're having a little bit of a discussion there.
And just for those at home, you have 10 stalls, and it's the T of stall 10 that counts for the stall down.
Yeah. If it is contested, or if there's a fast count call, maybe they thought Terling kind of a little bit too quick at the end, the disc will go back, coming in at stall 8. If it's uncontested, then it will be a turnover where the thrower is. So not sure if they're just asking for rules clarification there, or they might be going to the observer for a ruling.
And a little shout out to our Team Orange, Alan Bagish, Johan Navois, Sandra Hansen, and Pod Dante for being our observers for today's game.
So the stall down will stand. There's a check at the disc, and Wicked gets possession here. Excellent defense. Just like I said, that's what you needed to create that turnover. No options downfield.
Alexa Bryn to White. White chasing that down. White sending it up the line to Harvey. Crawford with the disc. Dishing it back to White. And using it with a field with Alexa Bryn. And just a little fumble here. Blackmore with the disc. Looking to center it to Orn. Hemmerling with the disc. Up the line to Horn. Horn recenters it to Hammerling. Sends it up to Hill. Hill looking for that end zone look. Dishes it backwards to Horn. And back to Hill. Just a little Hill and Horn action. And up the line to Hill with the 7th point for Toba.
Yeah. Some really good give-go action there by Toba. Unfortunately, Wicked not able to close in. Saw some good defense from Wicked there, though. Like I said, a lot more pressure downfield. That stalled down. It's really team defense that creates those opportunities. Toba just had no good options. On this one, though, really trusting their backfield to run the offense in the end zone. Stack staying patient, looking for the options for the break side. You saw people cutting from the back of the stack, providing a break side look if it wasn't there. Toba swinging back to the middle and immediately driving to the open side, having that step on their defender. And it looks like Toba's maybe calling for a timeout here. They've got a little bit of momentum. They're just taking a breath, resting their legs, resetting. We are getting close to half here. So they do have, I believe it's 2 timeouts per half. And so if you don't use them, they don't carry over. So might as well just give your players a little bit extra break. Grab some water. Make sure we're still mentally in this game, which, I mean, Toba that was a great point for them.
And half is the first team to come to 8. So Toba's just shy away of 1 point for halftime here.
7-4. They're looking pretty comfortable right now. Bit of a lead, but anything can happen.
What would be a nice little pep talk you would be sharing with your team in a halftime like this on the Toba side?
On the Toba side, honestly, just keeping the momentum rolling. When you've got a team on your heels like this, they're making little mistakes right now. You just got to capitalize on that. I think Toba's been doing a pretty good job, bar one of the points there where there's a lot of turnovers. When they get the disc, they're not giving it back easily. So I think just trusting in yourselves, keep making those cuts to the break side. That has been what's earning them opportunities. Even when they don't hit the break side receiver, providing those options is threatening, and Wicked has to respect that, and it opens up the field to then run those give-goes down the open side. So keeping organized, keeping calm, and have fun out there, right? We're at a national championship here. You gotta enjoy the sport, enjoy the moment.
Observers here, just a reminder how much time we have between points. Right. Lead block here. Steal to Moffat. Moffat to Harvey. Harvey to March. March looking for Harvey up the line. Beautiful up the line cut by Harvey and sends it up line to other Harvey. It's a sister point.
That was a sister connection there. You saw Adele Harvey making that deep strike early on, looking for her sister to throw it, but Vivian Harvey elected not to. But that connection came later in the point there. Nice little sister point. Love to see it.
I swear there's such thing as sibling telepathy. You know, your siblings will always know where you want the disc to be. And that's exactly what we saw. Harvey just punched that beautifully up the line to the end zone. And of course, Harvey was there to catch that.
Yeah. Harvey's really running the show on that point. And a nice clean hold. Wicked really did need that at this point. You don't need to make life more difficult for yourselves here. Just calm offense, walk it in. And now you really do need to send out a big D line here. You asked earlier if you would send out a power line. I think this is the point you do it. It is 7-5 is a point before half. You need this break. You need to close the gap, put some pressure on, try to gain some momentum.
Wicked here on defense. Alexa Brinshire with the pull. Horn here centering to Klassen. And there is a call.
Looks like there might have been a false start call here. And so defense actually gets to set up just like they would out of a timeout. So if they want to, they can move. Observers helping to instruct that. Yeah, you see Wicked here communicating how they want to set up their defense. And then it will be a defensive check to restart the play.
Horn to Klassen up the line here. Klassen looking for the around throw. Dishes it to the center here to Blackmore. Blackmore, a little pop in, give and go with Blackmore and Corsill. Blackmill to Hill right above the end zone line here. Hill's looking for an option and punches it to Horn. There was a little bit of a fumble there, and Horn was able to catch that back, scoring the 8th point for the first half. Toba takes half here.
Yeah. Yeah, Wicked came down in that junkie set again. Didn't look like it gave Toba any trouble there, even with the false start, and Wicked able to set up their defense. Toba really just walked it down the field. Lots of open receivers, so I don't know if there's some miscommunication with Wicked there, or if that's what they want. They were promoting it to the sideline. Unfortunately, Toba able to make those throws and a relatively easy clean hold for them.
We'll be back for some interviews. We're just going to take a little pause and we're going to have some little halftime interviews with a mix of Manitoba and Wicked. So we'll be right back.
They're looking for a reason to quit. Let's give it to them.
All right, I'm here with Claire and Sylvie from Team Toba. You've got a pretty solid lead right now. How's the team feeling?
I think we're pretty hype. I think we're pretty happy with how we're doing so far.
Yeah, we got a huge fan base here in Manitoba. We're a pretty small community, so that's really what's pushing us forward and keeping us in this game. So
Awesome. Going to this next half, do you have any focuses, anything that you're trying to do differently, much of the same?
I'd say our focus is to really clear the upfield space. Sometimes we get ourselves into trouble by like overcutting and cutting each other off. So yeah, really like clearing with intention, clearing to make space. I think that's going to help us finish this game. So
Awesome.
I would say more keep calm in the red zone. Like we've thrown a couple away, especially like coming up on defense. So I would say just try to keep calm and really control it.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, keep calm and carry on.
Yeah.
Excellent. And we're getting near the end of the term here. What has been your personal highlight or your favorite moment so far?
I'd say probably our Universe Point win against Dusk in pool play. We felt together and strong that entire game, and that ending it off with a win is really what made us feel good, and like we really worked for that. So
I would say probably our Universe lost against Canyon yesterday. Like, it was a heartbreaker, but I think we really came together as a team, and especially afterwards, we were all like hugging and crying together. So I think that was really a bonding moment for all of us.
For sure. Yeah, lots of close Universe point games for you.
Mhm.
Well, good luck with the rest of the game, and thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we're back here at Newton Athletic Park. It is me, Kat Martin, with Brienne Wager, and we are here with Toba and Wicked for the 5th place semifinal. Toba took half with a point of 8, and Wicked is right behind with 5 points.
Yeah. So 8-5. Some people say that is the worst score to have at halftime, and not for the team that is down. Being up 8-5, you think you've got a bit of a comfortable lead. It doesn't take much to turn things around, though. I've been on both sides of that coin. I've been up at 8-5. I've been down at 8-5. And yeah, honestly, it's still anybody's game. If Wicked is able to just tighten up that defensive pressure a little bit and then capitalize on the turns, they can be right back in this.
Well, we saw it live here yesterday on this field with Saga and Wheaties yesterday. Saga had the lead at halftime, and Wheaties came back with 6 breaks in a row. So maybe there's a commentator curse going on, but we might see something like that. And that's, I think, my favorite thing about watching Ultimate is the plot twist like that. Just when the least expected happens.
Yeah.
Keeps you on the edge of your seats, people.
Toba was sounding pretty confident during their halftime interviews, though, so we'll see if they can implement those changes. They want to be just a little bit more chill in their end zone sets.
Moffat here with the huck, with a great catch by Smith. Smith sending it to the deep and caught by Jones, and that is a point a break point. No,
No, that
sorry,
was a
hold.
nice clean hold. Wicked just getting the job done though, coming out. Again, just being confident with their throws, confident with their cuts. And we've talked about before this game, that's what we need to see from this team, right? Use the whole field, make those cuts deep, get some yards on the throws, and I think they got that in 2 throws, right? That's
2 throws.
Yeah. Really
Beautiful
nice grab
connection.
there. And the receiver immediately there to get it in the end zone.
And that's what you call the textbook ultimate. Very, you pick up your disc, you're cool, calm, collected, you work your way up, and then just a beautiful huck and someone just runs onto it.
Yeah. And what we saw there too was just one-on-one, right? If you can create those one-on-one matchups, offense has the advantage. And we saw that they're both on the initial huck reception and on the subsequent one in the end zone. So if Wicked can do more of that, create those isolated opportunities, they can really turn this game around. Let's see what they come out with on defense here. If they're sticking with that jump set, I don't know that it's been working for them. Might like to see something different. But we'll find out soon. The poll's about to go up.
Moffat here with the pull. And back to Horn, to Klassen. Klassen sending it, using the width of the field to Degagny.
Just a little bit of a miss throw there. And Medina able to knock the disc down.
Moffat here with the disc, with the huck, sending it to Marsh. Marsh looking to...
What a great throw there from March. Big fake to the open side. Their mark bit and just a nice upline. Great throw. And this is the energy we need to see from Wicked here. Coming out of half strong. Obviously, they're able to regroup, find their energy, find that team cohesion. Toba did a great job in that offense there. Like I mentioned, that one-on-one spacing, you had isolated cutters all the way down the field. Just an unfortunate miss throw. It happens. Can Toba here just mentally reset, come out? But we've now got a 1-point game. It is 8-7 for Toba. 2 very quick points by Wicked. An easy hold out of half and then an immediate break. We'd love to see it.
Sorry, I realized it was Crawford that made the point there. And I also forgot to mention, Wicked also has another coach, which is Kaylee Sparks, who also was coaching the TCU 24s that went to Logroño last year with Karen Hatch. So you kind of got a battle of your U20s, but you also have a little mini battle of your U24s.
Wonder if the coaches have any side bets going on.
It's always fun. It's always fun to hear what they have going on cooking.
All right.
You can really hear both crowds, both sides really cheering for both teams here.
Yeah, looks like Toba Open Juniors is in the stands here cheering for the women's team.
Klassen here collecting, looking for her options. Klassen sending it to Horn. Horn looking for that deep. Just not there. So she sends up line to Klassen. Klassen is sending it deep up to Hemmerling, and Hemmerling runs onto that point for the 9th point for Toba.
Lots of space for Hemmerling there in the end zone. Created a lot of separation from her and her defender. Really easy. We know Klassen's a good thrower, but she didn't have to work very hard there. I think the receiver did the work for her, gave her a very easy target, and Toba seems to have settled back into their offense. A nice clean hold for them. It's still a 2-point game here, 9-7 for Toba. Wicked sending out their O-line.
When we asked Wicked earlier, what is some offensive and defensive style, their response was that this would be a secret and they wouldn't tell. Very mysterious, very ominous. It's always fun talking to both teams and getting to know different players and different coaches and just seeing more of our community.
It's great to see so many competitive teams here.
Speaking of competitive teams, we also see, like, in terms of the history of program, for West being part of the OJ Cup program with a recent history of bronze in 2022, silver in 2023, and then 7th in 2024. But of course, Spirit Award in as well for 2027 and 8th in 2025.
Jones and Harvey doing a great job just working this all the way down the field. Jones was wide open in space for a big gainer. And Wicked over the half field mark now.
And a beautiful huck here. Just a little too high for Harvey to catch.
Yeah, that was a big look. I don't know that that was the right choice. Not a lot of space. It was nearing the back of the end zone. But those deep shots have been opening up the field for Wicked, so I don't hate it.
Toba here, walking up, looking for a deep option.
We've got
a little dish back to Davis.
Lots of switching downfield by Wicked. Moffat just really trying to clog up space in the middle. Almost generated a turnover there. Not quite able to get her hand on it. And I think this poshy defense by Wicked was causing a little bit of confusion, but it looks like there's an infraction on the mark that's been called. Hard to tell if it's could be a fast count, could be dispace, could be contact. Without the hand signals, hard to tell.
Little dish to Davis. And Harvey here picking it up on the end zone line. With a beautiful IO break to Jones for the 8th point. Still that 1-point game.
Yeah. Bit of an uncharacteristic turnover there from Toba. I think it was a case of looking to the next throw before that disc was in her hands, and an unfortunate drop right in front of the end zone. Wicked getting into their end zone set quickly and able to find space with one throw. I like the energy I'm seeing from Wicked here. They look a little bit more comfortable on the field now. Looks like they've got some rhythm going. And like I said, I like the different defensive look too. I think it was working well for them. Moffat seemed to have a little bit of free range, taking the underspace there, trying to clog up the space, and which really did stifle the Toba offense. And good heads up downfield on those switches, not letting anything open up in the deep space. So we'll see what they come down with here. They go back to any sort of junk set, or if they keep with their person, sort of poachy style. I think it's working for them. I'd like to see them keep at it. Over here, ready on offense. Their hands are up.
Oh, Wicked just tweaking a little last minute things before pulling here. Blackmore.
And there is a call. Maybe another false start here. They're letting offense set, and then Wicked on defense will be able to set up their defense as well. It's, again, similar to what you see coming out of a timeout. So offense cannot move off the line before the pull is up. They also can't switch places, and sometimes players forget that.
Blackmore centering to Klassen. Klassen looking for a deep option. Sends it. And is back to Klassen here in the middle. Klassen throws it up the line to Hammerling. And a beautiful attempted bid here by Hammerling.
Yeah, great effort there, but that disc was going just a little bit too fast, and Wicked has a chance to break.
I love how the Wicked players checking for turf burns. They're pretty real.
Absolutely. People ask why I play in pants. Because I don't want turf burns.
Wicked here with the center, going to Sadler. Sadler's throwing up the line here to White. Miladima here looking for her up the line options to Alexa Brent-Shear. And ABC throwing up line for the 9th point for Wicked. It is now a tie game. here at Newton Athletic Park.
Like we said, 8-5, the worst score to have coming out of halftime. All it takes is just a little bit of a momentum shift here. And yeah, we're right back to 9-9.
I got goosebumps. I don't know if it's this game or the little breeze we got.
Maybe a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. And it is a timeout called by Toba, so we'll have 70 seconds here.
So, it is now tie game. What are you telling your Toba athletes in a halftime huddle?
Honestly, I don't think they're doing anything wrong on offense except for just those missed connections. They're making the right looks, they're taking the right shots, but we do need to dial in the execution on the throws. A little bit of overthrows there. So just being sure you're in a high pressure situation here, especially as Wicked's clawing their way back up. You're on a stream field. That can add a little bit of mental pressure to teams as well. So before you throw it, take a breath, make sure. And you know what? Even if your receiver's open and you're not comfortable with it, you have the reset. But I think they are creating good space on the field, having the right looks. It's just execution that's getting them right now. We saw that with the unfortunate drop in front of the end zone. We saw it with the overthrow. So we just got to get our heads back in the moment and find that confidence in ourselves to get the job done.
Now in the Wicked circle, it's you just hear their cheer right now, and looks like they're also ready.
Yeah, I think a little bit different for Wicked. They can just ride this momentum right now. I think they need to have a little bit of fun with it. They need to keep the energy high. When they were two in their heads, I think that's when they were playing a little bit too small on the field. And I don't mean physically, I mean just kind of coming to the same space, closing up that space for themselves. Whereas right now you see them opening up. You see big cuts happening. You see those long throws. They're getting the point done in 2 to 5 throws right now, not having to use their resets too much because they're giving each other space to work. So I think they need to just keep doing that. Coming out of the timeout here, we've got Wicked pulling to Toba. Toba is ready, foot on the line, hands up. Hopefully we don't see another false start. They've had trouble with that this game. I don't know if they're moving early or switching spots on the line. Once they signal their readiness, they have to hold the order at which they are standing. No false start this time. They're able to just play the disc where it lies.
Also here with the disc. Horn here in the center, looking to Klassen. Klassen looking for that big up the line, and it's just a little bit too much power.
And that is the execution we talked about. A little bit too far. It was also sailing out of bounds. I think that was the right look, but we got to recognize there's a little bit of a wind pushing into that far corner.
Moffett here, stuttering it to Harvey. Harvey looking downfield for an option. Not there, looking for her bail. Sending it to Moffett here. Moffett sending it deep and just a little too blady towards the end there.
Harry almost able to get her hands on it, but not quite able to save it. So yeah, 2 missed executions on 2 deep looks here by both teams.
The horn here is starting to Klassen. Klassen was looking for that big again.
I think a smart holster. Unfortunately, not able to connect.
Harvey's going to be starting here with a disc. She's looking downfield for her options. Got Sadler at the little dish. Sadler looking to ABC. ABC's looking for her options and dishes it back to Moffett. Moffett with the backhand break to Harvey. Harvey's looking for a downfield option, dishing it back to Moffett. Moffett to Harvey connection, and Harvey just trying to save it with a bid there. Klassen back with the disc. To Hemmerling. To Horn. And Moffett with the defense here.
That was a great D by Moffett, able to get the inside lane there, knock the disc out of bounds.
Moffett looking to Ruby. Jones sending it a little high, and it is intercepted by Blackmore. And a little bit of contact.
Yeah. Looks like there might be an injury sub being taken here by Clausen. Nope, just repositioning. Observer letting her know she has to go back to where she was because play did stop. Not able to catch up to anybody on the field. And so there will be a check, and we're live.
Lockmore back with a disc to Horn. Clausen here with the disc, and she hucks it to Hemmerling. And is saved by Hemmerling. They are right above that end zone line. Hemmerling looking for an option in the end zone. She flips it back to Clausen, and Clausen sends it a little bit too high over Hemmerling's head.
Big defensive effort there by Cheer on the layout, but unfortunately not able to get that. And it did open up that big hut for Toba. But no matter, again, another overthrow execution error. We've seen a lot by both teams this point.
Moffat here calling a timeout for Wicked.
I think that's a good call.
Long point, 9-9.
This point is needed by both teams. So, timeout called on the end zone line. What are your thoughts on that?
You know what? I think this is a perfect time to catch your breath. I feel it is sometimes very hard when you make your way up to the end zone and then there's a turnover and then you have to make your way all the way back to the other end and then it goes back again, kind of like a little bit of tennis. So it's nice to have this water break, just kind of reset and apply your textbook ultimate. Just work your way up and just stay calm.
Yeah, and I think a reminder needed to both teams here. There is actually a little bit of wind picking up, and I don't think they've adjusted to it. You've seen a lot of execution errors in this point. Overthrows from Toba going downwind, and the disc popping up from Wicked going upwind, so they need to make those adjustments. Tricky here coming out from a timeout on the end zone line. You really want to make sure you've got a play dialed and you're creating that space downfield. I'm always hesitant to call a timeout on the end zone line because it's a very short field and you're letting the defense set up. If you can get a couple throws going first, get the defense on their heels, sometimes I think that's the better option. But tough to do, like you said, in a long point, we're both physically tired and mentally tired. Might be the time to take that break, make those adjustments. Coming out of the timeout here, you see Wicked is already set. Offense does have to set up first, and then defense is able to set. So they could throw a person defense or they could throw a junk. We have seen both. And again, if I were Toba, I would put a little bit of a junk set here. Wicked's going upwind on their end zone line. Put some pressure on. See if you can generate a short field turnover and then run a textbook end zone.
And we're seeing a little substitution Hemmerling going off, switching with Lamai.
And looks like Coach Karen Hatch had the same idea as maybe we haven't played together once or twice.
Moffat here with the disc with Toba putting a zone. This is the first real zone we've seen all game. Moffat and Harvey with a little bit of give and go there. Moffat looking for Harvey in the long, up the line. And Harvey looking for the deep shot.
Not the intended receiver, but we had Kalimov trying to, sorry.
Crawford and Jones with a little bump and Lamai stuck in there as well.
Yeah, Jones. My eyes are not good. That 77 looks like an 11 to me. I should maybe put my glasses on. Little bit of contact, but I think it is two offensive players colliding with each other. So I don't think that there is a call there. I'm not sure what that conversation is.
I think they were, the three of them, but that's why we have our observers here to just be able to give that outside perspective, because sometimes it's hard to see when you're so in the moment.
For sure. And if you don't know who you collided with, maybe you thought it was a defensive player in there, but we'll see what is decided here. It looks like the observer is making the ruling. See the hands on the shoulders here. Observer Baggage, there's a foul, and the disc is dang.
And a blue card is issued as well. So for those at home, do you want to explain a blue card?
I do not.
Okay, I will explain a blue card. If I am correct, a blue card is for issued to a team, and then yellow cards are issued to a person individually. And if you get 2 yellow cards in the same game, then you are ejected, or you receive a red card, which also is the equivalent of ejecting.
So you can see now the observer is pointing. Players must go back to where they were on the field at the time of the call, and then there will be a defensive check.
All right, Jones here starting back. Little dump here to Sheer. And just a hand block here by Horn from Toba. Classy here with the disc. Sending it to the sideline to Hill. Hill looking up line to Radford. Radford's looking for her bail. Horn dishes it over her shoulder. Horn back to Klassen in the center. Klassen looking for the throw to Blackmore. Blackmore sends it back to Klassen.
Not seeing a lot of cuts coming out of the stack here, and it is a long point, but we need those cutters to cut. We need some movement downfield. Right now, the handlers are working it between each other, and Klassen's back with the disc.
Klassen's looking for her cutters in the end zone. Sends it. Big huck in the end zone. And it is...
We're just waiting for the observers to
ruling.
signal. Seeing if there's any potential call. They haven't put their hands up yet, so you do need to wait for the observers. Looks like there is a little bit of discussion, maybe about when the disc was caught. And the observers coming in to also offer their perspective if it's required. If players can settle it by themselves, that is preferred. It is a self-officiated sports. Observers are there just to help with rules clarifications or to provide that perspective, but only when asked by the players. And it only has to be one player. It can be the offense or the defense who asks to go to the observer. If they do decide to go to the observer, it is a binding call, which we saw at the opposite end of the field there. A little bit of discussion. That was a little bit of a Hail Mary throw. I'm not sure what the stall count was at, but like I said, the handlers weren't getting a lot of movement from the stack, not so many options downfield. I don't know if there's miscommunication happening or what. Something Toba talked about during their halftime interviews is they want to clean up the end zone.
I'm finding also.
And that is a goal. Observers can signal, hands up. Toba scores that long point to make it 10-9. I can't even remember if they were on offense or defense to start. I think it was a hold.
Yes, because Wicked had just scored their 9 points.
Yeah, so unfortunate that Wicked wasn't able to capitalize and get the break. But they made Toba's offense work a lot, and honestly, as a defensive line, that is what you want. So, big point there. It is only 10-9. It is a 1-point game. We've got Wicked's O-line going out there. I would say they should be fresh, but I am seeing some people double shift. We've got Harvey out there again. Big point there to work around the zone. What really opened that up for Wicked was Moffat with a nice big OI throw to Harvey into space, and then they were off to the races. So I think Wicked keep trusting their throws, hopefully adjusting now. Both teams are going in the opposite wind direction. Wicked hopefully recognizing they've got a little bit of a tailwind, not overshooting their receivers, especially this late in the game. Legs are tired. Toba has some height, so if it just pops up, hopefully they're able to get under it, but again, focusing on that execution. That was the biggest thing last point for both teams, was just the execution errors. Both of them were playing well, both on offense and defense. And you can see the energy and the hustle. Lots of bodies hitting the turf, putting in those second efforts to keep the disc alive. 10 seconds to pull as coaches rush off the field, and the disc is up.
And that is the horn that just went off.
So that means we are in soft cap, and 1 point, well, this point will finish. After this point, depending on who scores, we'll add 1 to the highest score.
Moffat here with a huck, and just a drop here by Smith. But it was a great look.
But with the chance to break here, Wicked putting lots of defensive pressure on. Like I said, this is what we need from this team. And
it is a
force
hand block by
throw, but there
Moffat.
is a foul call and no contest from the Wicked player, so Toba will remain possession with the disc in the hands of the receiver. I thought it was a signal no contest,
Yeah.
but maybe that was just talking with their hands. There is a little bit of a discussion here.
You can see the hand gestures of explaining what their perspective there.
Lots of clapping, signaling when someone may or may not have had hands on the disc. Tough to see from here. I'm looking through a few players. It looked like Moffat had the inside line, but I think maybe was that number 12, Stark Detman, potentially saying she had possession already and it was a strip call. Unclear. And looks like, yeah, Toba is retaining possession, so it is an uncontested foul coming in with the check.
Toba here looking for to recenter it, looking for their options and sending it up deep. And you have Harvey jumping, creating a defense here for Wicked.
Yeah, Harvey hanging out in that deep space, just waiting for that high stall count huck. And Wicked has another chance on offense here.
Moffat to Harvey. Harvey in the middle. Harvey looking for some cutter option. Dishes it to Moffat. Nice save here by Jones. Jones looking at for Harvey as an option, or Moffat. Moffat with the backhand around to March. March back to Moffat. Moffat looking for someone in the end zone. Sends it up line to Harvey. Harvey just above the end zone line here, looking for her options. Harvey sending it up, and it is caught by Steele, and that is Wicked. 10-point as well. So now with that soft cap, it's Universe point.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Soft cap, we add 1 to the high score. Both teams are currently tied 10-10, so it is a game to 11. Huge game here. Wicked coming from an 8-5 deficit at halftime. Just getting the breaks that they needed. Again, putting on that stifling defensive pressure there. We saw Toba throwing up that Hail Mary huck. They had a receiver in the area, maybe had a chance to come down with it, but Harvey read that really well. It was also in the deep space. Really impressed with Moffat in that point. Got a timeout called by Wicked, so they probably want to run some people back here, give their players a little bit of water, a little bit of a break. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Moffat and Harvey back out there again. But like I was saying, really impressed with Moffat's throwing. Had a really nice backhand around break, as well as an inside break. And I love that she's looking for the break side. And her teammates obviously know that that's where they need to cut for her. She has those throws. She's able to get the disc there. So just give her the option. Lots of energy coming out from Wicked here. Toba, you've got their O-line out on the line already, having that talk. Using the extra time from the timeout to strategize. They do have a little bit of an advantage here. The 1-point game. They just have to hold. And we've seen a lot of clean holds from them. Again, Wicked has really upped the intensity on defense, so they have to work hard to create the space on the field, come down with this. We're probably just about out of time here. Wicked will be sending out a defensive line. Toba receiving on offense. Lots of energy from the crowd, both Toba and Wicked. A nice team signaling their readiness. All the hands are up in the air. Love when offense does this. It really shows that you're all on the same page and you're ready to work together, work for each other. And this poll has got to go up here. We're getting close to the time. And there it is.
Toba here looking for a deep option. Sending it to Klassen. Klassen looking for a hammer lane.
Lots of space. Not able to reel that catch in. And Wicked has a chance on offense here. Moffat signaling people to come back to her.
Moffat with the disc. Playing to ABC. ABC looking for a deep option, sending it back to Moffat. Moffat sending it here to Crawford.
And another drop. Unfortunately, just popping up in the wind, not able to reel it in. And Toba gets their second chance on offense here.
Klassen picking up the disc. Looking for her option. Sends it up. And Harvey with the defense here. Wicked now has her second chance on O, but there's a foul call back where Klassen originally threw it. So we'll have some discussion here with our Wicked player.
Yeah, it looks like a foul on the throw. Maybe why that throw wasn't quite what she wanted. If the receiver had caught it, it would not have mattered, but because there was a turnover downfield, there will be that discussion. Looks like it is a foul, no contest, so the disc will go back to Klassen. Coming in at stall 1, everyone will also have to reposition to where they were at the time of the foul, which is the time that the throw went up. So a little bit of repositioning you see here. This will get tapped in by the Wicked defender.
Klassen with the disc. Looking for her deep option. Playing it to Horn here in the middle. Horn looking back to Klassen. Klassen looking for the big huck. And a little bit of a controversial throw with some debate if it was down.
Wicked
but
is
like
signaling up. Great spirit there. ABC had eyes.
Klassen here back with the disc in the middle. Klassen sends it around to Radford. Radford dishes it back to Klassen. And Klassen looks for the beautiful OI backhand to Horn.
Big throw there, a little bit of
zone.
contact after the catch. Just a, oops, I'm sorry, reposition. There is a card. That was a little bit of a late bid, but players are okay and they are given a nice little handshake there.
And this is a yellow card that we talked about where the yellow card is for the individual, and just to remind you, the blue card is for the team.
So Toba with the disc just outside the end zone. Chance to finish the game here.
Horn with the disc, right on the edge of the end zone here. Sends it back to Klassen. Klassen sends it up line to Hammerling, and that is the 11th point for Toba, winning for the 5th place semifinal. Toba winning 5th place.
Huge game for both teams. Wicked did an excellent job turning around. They're really upping their defensive pressure and opening up space in their offense. Toba going through a little bit of a slump in that second half. They were mis-executing, mis-throwing, mis-catching, but able to get the job done, figure it out. And we mentioned at the beginning of the game, they used the break side really well in their end zone. They had a little bit of slump in the mid-game with their end zone, but brought it back there. Had that one cutter open on the break side. Easy throw, easy catch. Strong finish of this game, and a great game by both teams. Some big plays there.
Really great resilience on Wicked, just coming back from that gap there and tying the game for the second half and just bringing that back. And as you said, 8-5 is not a fun position to be in coming in the second half.
Great spirit on that last point too by Alexa Branchier, or affectionately known as ABC. There's a close grab, but she saw the disc was up, immediately signaled with her hands, disc was up, no worries, Toba still had possession. And so love to see that quick resolution, and yeah, teams just honoring, right? There's ultimate self-officiated. If you can help call those ups, downs, and minimize discussion, we can just keep that gameplay going. So great spirit all around by both teams this game.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Kat Fortin with Brienne Wager, and this was the 5th place semifinal women's game, junior women's game. We will see you next time. You can catch us. We will be live at 10:30 with the I'm just gonna double check our next game, but I'm pretty sure we've got a
I think it's the open semifinals. up
open
next.
semifinal.
We're gonna confirm that for you.
Yes, we have the open semifinals at 10:30, so in about 30 minutes. And right after the semifinal, then we will have the open bronze game on the second field with no commentating. And then we will have our finals at 1:30 for open and the finals for women's at 3:45.
So lots of good ultimate to be played here at Noon Athletic Park. Excited to see what's to come.
Thanks so much. We'll see you guys later.